Fantastic.
And we are going with the recording too. We got everything set up. Everything is working with no issues.
Let's knock on wood there, please. This would not be a podcast episode without just a tiny bit of scuff involved.
A little bit of scuff. No, that's the beauty of it though. If your podcast isn't scuffed, it's just too bland. It's too plain. It's like a loaf of white bread.
I've always been more of a wheat bread fan myself.
Oh, for real? Okay, I'm more of a sourdough person if we really want to get into it, but to each their own.
Before we even start, do you want to show off the shirt?
Oh yeah, so I'm actually wearing the infamous The Balls shirt. I survived the CCA Season 4 The Balls incident. It is real. I'm wearing it. This was not photoshopped. It was not photoshopped. There's merch, and maybe, I don't know, we're not talking about that right now, but I am wearing a The Balls shirt. That's the important thing.
That's an Adam question.
Yeah, teal, to be determined. We're not talking about that right now.
God, what a way to kick off season 4.
No, for real.
Anywho, let's get the show on the road. So, well, hello there, everyone. That's not just the name of my Ludi pickup, but it is also the indicator that this is the start of the podcast episode number 2. I am your host, Krona. No, I'm not named after the Swedish currency. And today my co-host is OmaZen.
Yeah, hi, I am OmaZen, and fun fact, my name has literally nothing to do with Amazon. Nothing.
As much as Google Drive wants to autocorrect it to that.
Yeah, do not type in OmaZen on Google Docs. It will autocorrect to Amazon.
For those of you new here or just want to recap for what the podcast is, the podcast is designed to inform the CCA audience on current CCA happenings and reveal some of the grander storylines that don't get represented as well throughout the seasons and such. It serves as a celebration of our community and the members and teams that compete in it. And currently, a lot of it's going to be focused on Season 4, as, you know, we're currently in the midst of it. Actually, we're almost halfway through now, I think about it. Or
yeah, it's
halfway
week
through
3.
the regular season, too.
Yeah.
That's... God, time's going by way too fast.
It really is.
Anywho, as I said earlier, there's always a bit of scuff involved here, and we're still trying to figure things out. So please just bear with us as we go along. Luckily, things have been improving as the weeks go on. So let's hope nothing breaks tonight. Anywho, recap of this episode, or overview of this episode. Sorry. We'll be recapping the week 2 matches. What teams are important to note, what match results are going to have lasting impacts and ramifications later down the line. We're then going to have an interview with California State University Long Beach Gold, a new CCA team that's appeared for this season, who's made some big waves already in Division 2. And then we will be having a brief preview of Week 3. Like I said, the regular seasons are almost halfway over, which means that some of these matches are going to start to have some huge implications for playoff runs down the line. So a lot is happening, and there's a lot to talk about. So without further ado, let's increase the counter, and let's get started. So, to recap a little bit of Week 2, there was 55 matches played throughout the week. So a little bit less than last week, as a lot of schools are hitting their midterm and break seasons.
Yeah, a lot of us can feel the midterms hitting us like a freaking wall, a brick wall even.
Yeah, I know WPI, both of our teams had to use our reschedules because it was finals week and we were all just way too booked to even consider playing Splatoon. But
yeah.
So of those 55 matches, we had 5 matches end on TC Museum this week, which was our Game 7. So a little bit of a decrease from last week where we had 7. But again, things are still very competitive, with only 26 of those 55 matches actually being like full sweeps, which means that a majority of these matches went to Game 5s, Game 6s, and to those elusive Game 7s. So without further ado, let's go through the divisions and note some of the important matches and results that occurred. So starting with our lovely, lovely Division 6. The first one I want to highlight is Splatoon Gold versus Splatoon Gold from the Missouri University of Science and Technology, triumphing over Spoon from Kutztown University 4-1. Splatoon Gold is a team that's been competing in the CCA in the CCA events since the start of CCA League Season 2, and they've had to face many different trials and tribulations throughout the last year. However, they have continuously proven that they are able to adapt to the situation and push through them. I just want to kind of give a quick shout out to the players, both new and old members of Splatoon Gold, who have been there since the start and helped establish the Splatoon scene at Missouri University of Science and Technology. Splatoon Gold, you're very much the people and players we encourage to see in the CCA, and you're very much the people that make the CCA what it is. So thank you for your constant efforts and supports, and congratulations on your win against Spoon. The other Division 6 match I have to highlight is also from some established collegiate programs, those being VCU Spirality's 4-2 victory over Coastal Carolina's Coastal Booyah Basins. These are two newer teams from some newer collegiate universities here, from VCU and from Coastal Carolina, both some big names since Season 3. And it's good to see that these two new teams are kind of letting newer players at these universities kind of grow and experience the scene. And it's exciting to see some of the up-and-coming new players from these universities that could possibly lead to future players on some of their more higher-up teams later in the season.
Yeah, it's been really great seeing teams that have just grown so rapidly, especially like Coastal Squid Surf, and being able to help lead a new generation. It kind of, I don't know, to get a little bit nostalgic, reminds me a lot of ITAP and PAL back at Purdue a long time back already. So to kind of see that through other universities is really sweet. And I really hope the best for these new teams as we continue to head into the season. Yeah, but yeah, heading
Sorry, go
into
ahead.
yeah, no. Going into Division 5 though, we had some other exciting matches that we wanted to highlight. First off, we had Champlain Splatoon Cerulean from Champlain College, who went 4-2 over OU Academy B from the University of Oklahoma. Something to note about this match is that Champlain Splatoon Cerulean continues as a dominant start at the beginning of the season here, and they established themselves as the front runners in Division 5 Group A. So we've been seeing a lot of great stuff from them so far, and realistically, we will continue to see some fantastic games. So keep an eye out on them as we continue the season. At this current place, they're also looking pretty good for a deep playoff run, so definitely keep an eye out for them. Going into Undertow Dartfish, this match versus Let's Get Kraken, Undertow Dartfish from University of Denver, and Let's Get Kraken from Bradley University. We saw Undertow Dartfish win 4-1 over Let's Get Kraken. Undertow Dartfish so far has been off to a great start in Division 5 of the current CCA season, and they are currently 2-0 in their group, which is Group B. So hopefully we can see them keep it up with a few tough matches on the horizon. This in particular being a match against Shrugs, Splatoon, and Crimson Inc., which will be pretty difficult for them.
Yeah, no. Division 5 is very, very interesting to watch this season. I was having a lot of fun looking at the brackets and the groups so far last night when I was writing the script. Definitely pay attention to these lower divisions. Because it's very much, like I said earlier, it's very much seeing who the new universities and teams could be for up-and-comers for future CCA events. Moving on to Division 4, we have the PSU Nifty Lionfish versus MSU Soap, which with the Nifty Lionfish winning 4-2 over Michigan State University. Hey, this could possibly be leaking the script for the Division 1 Grand Finals match. Anywho, PSU brings home back-to-back 4-2 victories against WPI and MSU in their first 2 weeks. But the question does really remain, can they keep this pace up? before they're tested later in the season with some tough games against UGA Black. Yeah, I believe it's Black, and Enter Salmon coming up. So good stuff from PSU as always, and it's going to be very interesting to watch both these teams in the future. Next, we have our first Game 7 of the week with Moravian Cyber Squids winning that fatal Game 7 against Stu from Purdue University. And this match is even more exciting because this is what I believe is the first reverse sweep of Season 4. That is right. Moldovan Cyber Squids were down 0-3 going into Game 4, where they came back to win 4 matches back-to-back against Stu. Finishing even more impressively, finishing this match with 2 very quick knockouts against Stu. So well done to Moravian University with this Game 7. And it's going to be very interesting to watch both of these teams continue forward as they're both 1-1. And they both still have playoff avenues open for them later this season.
Yeah, I guess speaking on Stu real quick, and also congrats to Moravian University for taking that reverse sweep. That's a huge accomplishment. But speaking on Stu real quick, they, for those who do not know, recently picked up 2 brand new members this CCA season. One of them going by the name of Shoes, who is gonna probably be someone to look out for as the season progresses. He is a very strong Slayer player who, at
Is
least
that their
when
Carbon?
they are a Carbon player. That
I
is
remember. I
that
remember
is the
this.
Carbon.
I mentioned
Yeah.
them last week because they
Hmm.
had some absolutely dominant matches against their opponent
Yeah.
last week. I can't remember who off the top of my head, but yes,
Yes. No.
definitely keep an eye on them.
Yeah. Shoes is going to be a very important person to look out for. Um. So I don't know. We'll see how they evolve and how they gradually integrate themselves into the competitive scene. Um. So yeah. Kind of piggybacking off of all that though, going into Division 3. Um, we had the GMU Patriots from George Mason University win a 4-0 match against A State Black from Arkansas State University. The GMU Patriots have been off to a fantastic start, winning both their Week 1 and Week 2 matches, but actually 4-0 both. So they're really trailblazing right now. Although their schedule gets a little rougher from here, as they are going to start running into some teams that have had higher win streaks. So, and similar matchups to them. So we're going to be seeing how they kind of take that on and ultimately handle the challenge. Um, Moving forward to another notable match, we had DPU Inc. Stu from DePaul University to a 4-3 win over Chark Attack from University of North Carolina Greensboro. So very close set. They both had impressive performances. Inkstu ultimately was able to bounce back from a rough Clamblitz Mako match where it went sub 2 minutes, and they also were able to get a win on Splatstone's Manta, and they had a very long game they had to deal with on the TC Museum pick for this week on our map list. So, very chaotic match for them, although they were ultimately able to come out just on top and show that DePaul uh, does. They do. We're going to move on. Tiger Sharks from Rochester Institute of Technology was able to get a 4-3 win over the Farmingdale State Rams from Farmingdale State College. RAT bounced back from a 0-2 situation with 3 wins back to back. Farmingdale ultimately getting a knockout in Game 6, however, was not able to deter Rochester Institute of Technology. And they were able to get a clutch Game 7 win. So very close matches between DPU Inc. Stu and Shark Attack, and also Tiger Sharks and Farmingdale State Rams. And we're going to continue to see both of these teams continue to fight throughout their groups and see who can ultimately get into the CCA playoffs for their division.
Yeah, no, I love to see those STEM schools winning out here in Div 3. Love to see that RIT. Moving on to Division 2, we have California State University Long Beach Gold triumphing 4-3 over the Husky Splatville Knights from the University of Washington. We luckily have some of the Long Beach members here that we'll be interviewing later, but this is Long Beach's second back-to-back Game 7 victory to start off the season. Week 1, they previously won against MSU Camp Juice. So Long Beach Gold is off to a fantastic start of the season, and I'm very much looking forward to interviewing them in the coming minutes. But continuing forward into Division 2, in Group 4, we have the fan favorites, We Aquatic Little Creatures from Purdue University and Coastal Squid Surge from Coastal California University, both winning their Week 2 matches 4-0. Due to reschedules, these are the first matches both these teams have played, and they were against MSU Deep Sea Divers from Michigan State University and Nightfall from the University of Texas at Austin, respectfully. Division 2 shaping up to be a wonderfully competitive as always, and it's very exciting to watch, again, some of these older collegiate powers be tested by this new generation of teams and programs.
Yeah, Walk versus Coastal Squid Surge is going to be something to look out for as we eventually move forward in the season. That's going to be
I think that's
probably
Week 4, I believe.
Well, that was the
Let me
Week
take a
1
quick.
reschedule, was it not?
Oh, it was. Hang on, let
Yes.
me double check that, because that will be the most decisive game in that group by far.
Mm-hmm. Really heated matchup overall, though, to look forward to. So ideally, we get it streamed and can get something lined up. So be sure to watch the stream.
It's a Week 5 match.
It's going to be a Week
which
5
means that
match.
it could very likely be played just for playoff seeding,
Oh, that would
depending
be insane.
how the Purdue and Coastal California do. So definitely keep your eyes peeled on those two teams and to see their developments further along here.
Definitely. And then finally, for our recap of Week 2, we're looking at Division 1. MSU and PSU kept their dominance and swept both of their sets. And we also would like to note that after a rough Week 1, Ink Black was able to bounce back with a clean sweep against Wormwind. And the Night Sharks from the University of Central Florida were able to get a 4-2 win over UCSD Esports Gold. This was a run back of a Booyah Bowl 2 semifinals match where Night Sharks was able to win in Game 5. And the Night Sharks also were able to breathe a little easier this time, stopping UCSD from pushing the match to a Game 7. So that went to Game 6 in that case. So 4-2 sweep. And then East UCSD, or UCD, my bad, Banana Split got a 4-3 win over Reef Runners. Banana Split being pushed to 2 games, 7 back-to-back, and coming on top of both of them. Reef Runners and Reef Unleashed Gold, notable teams to look at. And while they are 2-0, it has been a rough season for them so far, and their future schedule is not that forgiving. So yeah, they're going to be in for quite the time of their life moving forward.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting to see these Division 1 teams continue to face each other through different iterations. A lot of these teams have faced each other through past seasons, through past events as Booyah Bowl entry exam. So it's always very interesting to follow these larger storylines that develop throughout multiple CCA events and such.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, Banana Split is definitely definitely want to keep your eye on them as they take on some tougher opponents in these coming weeks. So, anywho,
Definitely.
that is it for the recap from Week 2. Some lovely lot of competitive matches played as always, and it's promising and very exciting for the future weeks here. So, moving on, I would now like to welcome Camellia and Jay from California State University Long Beach Gold onto the stage for our interview with them.
That's crazy, yo.
Where I cannot.
Hello.
Thank you.
Oh my
I could not
gosh,
find you there for a
Hi.
second. Hello. To
Hello.
give everyone in the
Hi.
audience a little introduction, this is California State University Long Beach Gold. California State or Cal State Long Beach is brand new to the CCA this season. And the school has produced two teams. Cal State Long Beach Black in Division 3 and California State Long Beach Golds in Division 2, who we have the pleasure of interviewing today. Gold has had a fantastic first impression in the CCA during Exam 2, where they went 6-1, sweeping through notable CCA veterans such as UH Premier, Red Beak Splatoon, and Life Could Bradley Dream. So a good collection of Division 2 and Division 2 teams, and some even past league league winners. As for their results in Season 4 so far, they've been one of the most interesting teams to observe, winning back-to-back Game 7s against MSU Camp Juice and the Husky Splatfield Knights in Week 1 and 2, respectively. And these 14 games have been extremely competitive, with most of them ending in knockouts. While Long Beach's goal has been pushed to the brink in both these cases, they have powered through and have ultimately come on top for both of them. So, welcome, California State Long Beach Gold. We're very glad to have you here and to have the chance to interview.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here as well. Well, I think it's
Yeah, thank
amazing
you for
that we're
having
here
us.
in the first place because I know Jay has been advocating for Splatoon team for like the past 5 years at Long Beach, and this is the
That's
first time we've
true,
actually
yeah.
got something going on.
That is fantastic to hear. We are always here at this. We CCA staff are always so excited to see these new universities getting introduced to our scene and to start growing and competing here. So I covered a lot about your team from an outside CCA perspective in my introduction, but obviously there's a lot more to you all than just that. So can you introduce yourselves fully and tell us a little bit more about your team?
Oh yes, of course.
Cammy
Is it all
first.
right if I go right now? Yes, okay. So hello, my name is Camellia, but please call me Cammy. I've been playing Splatoon since the very first game, but this is participating in CCA Season 4 is my first serious venture into the competitive scene. So when it comes to our team, CSULB Gold consists of myself, Funnyman, also known as Jay, Apoxelixer, I can't pronounce your name, I just call you Apox. We have Filmopolis and No Tails. And a fun fact about us is that we formed literally 3 days before Entrance Exam 2 was held. Yes, 3 days, 3 days. And so let's start with myself. I'm the captain, and I'm also a backline anchor main. I love Splatlings, but if you look in the, I know that Hakon has like a really excellent statistics page, and you'll see that I've actually been playing Wiper Deco for most of these matches. So you'll understand that I tend to flex into roles that our team requires for the comps that we build. So second of all, we have Jay. I'm just going to introduce him on his behalf. He's our frontline player. He mostly
Okay.
plays Trinavo and Shot, and he's actually the captain of a Division 8 Luti team called Black Aurora, which I also
That's
coached.
facts.
He is
That's also
also
facts.
a really excellent shot caller, so I really thank him for that and being able to pick up the pace for our team. And here comes Apox. I'll call him that for now. I see you in the audience. Hi, Apox. So Apox is our resident roller one trick who can turn games around with a miraculous and sneaky 3K. Like we'll be on our back foot and then suddenly Apox pulls a 2K or a 3K from an amazing shark, and so we try to enable him as much as possible. It's really great to have the glass cannon play style of him there.
Homie's like
Then we
our
have
Giorno Giovanna, actually.
all right, comment with the anime references. Next up, we have Film, also known as Filmopolis, and he's our support shooter main, but he does sometimes play the sloshers. I know he really enjoys those. He is Orange Zap's #1 defender. Like that guy will always ask, "Can I play Orange Zap? Can I play Orange Zap?" And well, he's really ambitious and he's got the reflexes and aim to back it up. So why not enable him? It's a pleasure to have him on this team. And then last but definitely not least, we have No Tails, who I call Tails. He kind of appeared out of nowhere for the tryouts, and he really impressed me with what he did. He's our #1 bucket user who seems to never die during a match. He frags out like crazy, and he is always the supportive, reliable backbone of our team comp. I always know that he's there to be able to hold our ground and make sure that we can re-enter fights. And well, that's the team.
Glad to hear that there's
Alright,
another
cheers.
Chump supporter other than Frosty here.
So I don't know. Kind of moving forward a little bit. This is the first time that California State University Long Beach has been able to, or just in general, has participated in CCA events. So can you tell us a little bit about the Splatoon scene there and how things have came together for your two teams this season?
Oh yes, of course. So as I've mentioned before, after like Jay has been advocating for a Splatoon team for the past 5 years, to no fruition, I'm a transfer to Long Beach, which means that I only arrived in the past 2 years. And we
Nice.
kind of started out as like a group that just kind of met up on Thursdays and played Splatoon. We'd always hang out in the library and review each other's VODs. And then the moment I saw news about entrance exam 2 in the CCA, I was like, we have to register. It might be 3 days before CCA, before the entrance exam 2 starts, but we have to register or we're never going to have a team. And so we hosted tryouts, and I was like, okay, we're probably just going to have around, like, I don't know, 8 people. When I checked those Google Forms, over 20 people had applied to do tryouts, and tryouts
wow.
lasted more than like 2 hours, I believe. But it was a really amazing experience because people who had never even come to the Thursday VOD reviews actually showed up, and that's how we met so many more people in the Long Beach Splatoon scene. And I'd like to give a shout out to the University of North Carolina Greensboro and Cal State University Fullerton for being our very first scrim partners during our tryouts. You guys were awesome. Thank you, Greensboro, for dealing with our 1 hour delay.
Wow, fantastic! You had such a response in such a short amount of time there.
Yeah, no question about that. Um, so we were kind of also curious about another thing. California State University Long Beach Esports has incorporated Splatoon into different events and also charity streams. So there always seems to be some sort of level of interest surrounding all that. What was the tipping point of finally getting support for a Splatoon team, or just the interest in it in general?
All right. So I believe that. Okay. So when entrance exam news came out, the
Mhm.
day right after that was Long Beach's very first esports meeting for the semester. And we had, I believe, Film was there, Filmopolis was there, and he went to our president and asked how we could make a Splatoon team because we literally just found out about the information the day before. Our president, Baby Gyoza, also known as Alex, they just wrote on a little piece of paper like, okay, you have to fill out like all these like forms and stuff, and then make sure you have our roster back to us by the end of the week. And so we were on a massive time crunch in order to get both these teams like sorted out, like for competition and also like for what's it like, not legal purposes, but like you can paperwork stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, always a struggle to coordinate well with the university's esports programs. Moving on to talk a little bit more specifically about your team. Um, tell us a little bit more about the comp history of the players on this team. And I'm assuming, kind of with your response already, but this is the first time you all are playing together in a competitive setting, right?
Yes, indeed. This is our very first time
Yeah,
playing together.
basically.
And like it's really interesting to go against teams that have been together for a long time and like seeing how we kind of punch up against them. So I'll
Mhm.
cover the comp history of myself as well as the three other members, but Jay can go into detail more about like his comp journey so far because it's been pretty great in my opinion. So as for me, the last time I competed in comp was in Splatoon 2 when I was a handheld charger main, and I was Division 4 in Luti Season 6. That is ages ago. That is crazy. On the other hand, Tails and Apox, they have very brief histories of competitive. Looking at Tails' profile, he last competed in Low Inc. in 2019, so that was
Oh,
also
jeez.
Splatoon 2. Yes. Apox actually last competed in 2022 in the Juniors Draft, which is a tournament held, for A+ ranked players and below. And you might be thinking, huh, A+ players? But how come he's on Div 2? Well, nowadays, Apox has been greatly enjoying X rank, and I think he got to like a new peak of 2,300, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, no, it
All right,
seems like.
Jay.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about Jay.
No, no worries.
Oh, Jay's turn. Jay's turn. That's crazy. Yeah, my comp journey's been a little like hills and valleys. I started off in the May 2022 Turf War ladder with my other captain of the Black Aurora, Muffin, and we have played together for a long time ever since. We've gone through a couple of other teams, just that no beef with them at all. Absolutely, they're great people. We just had different interests in like competition. You know, like we definitely wanted more. We were definitely the most bloodthirsty out of all of our teams, if that's a comparison I can make. But by the time we left the last team, we're like, you know what? Let's make our own team. Let's set our standards, and we did. And we got tryouts done in a much longer time than Long Beach. So like, props to Cammy for getting that done in that little time, because I could never have done that. And we do a couple of the ink ups together, and that lands us in Div 8 somehow. We're like, oh wow, that's crazy. And we're putting fights up against like Div 7 and Div 6 people right now too. So we're going up and up, and I'm trying to give to the Long Beach teams, plural, what I've picked up here too, because at the end of the day, we want to share the game knowledge with as many people as can, so we can all improve and just play better and have a better time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic to hear about your array of different experiences and you all coming together. Seems like you have a lot of people who are very eager to participate in competitive and to get reintroduced to the scene for Splatoon 3.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Thankfully, we definitely have the attention now in comparison to, like I said, like 5 years ago. I remember walking up to the campus table for esports. I'm like, hey, do you guys have a Splatoon team? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, cool. Can I make one? No. All right, dude. All right, I'll try again next year, I guess. And here we
You
are,
and the
5
three other
years later.
Splatoon players on campus. So
Bureaucratic
basically,
red
yeah,
tape.
to like kind of wrap it up, we're kind of just 4 casuals and a Div 8 player in competing in CCA Div 2. So it's kind of like, oh, we're here.
You are not a casual. Don't say that.
I'm kind of like
You're
technically.
not. She's been
I
saying
guess.
that for the past like 2 months. Someone needs to stop her.
Okay.
I mean, I feel at this rate, with your track record in the CCA so far, I think it'd be an injustice to call you just a casual.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, kind of moving forward a little bit, what does a typical week look like for your team, and how do you prepare for your league matches, or do you just do anything casual together?
All right, so it kind of depends. For us, usually we tend to scrim at least once before we have our match. And as I mentioned before, we still keep our Thursday tradition of doing VOD reviews. And now we have the help of an actual coach. Shout out to Neptune, who plays for Ink Black.
Neptune,
He is the GOAT. I love how he gently persuades us to reflect on our mistakes and build off of our strengths that we have so far. So thank you so much for that. And other than that, as captain, usually I actually do research on the other teams that we're going against. It's kind of nerdy, but I look for their VODs and I see what they run. I look at their habits and I'm like, how can I exploit this for our match against them?
Cammy went crazy for last week's match. Like, seriously. Homie was in the code of the game. I was a little scared, not even gonna lie.
It's just looking up and watching a match or two.
I always love it when other teams very much scope out the competition and put the work in to figure things out and come in with a game plan. So, moving on to a little bit more about your league results so far. You've had some very dominant games so far this season, having 5 of the 8 matches you've won been from knockouts alone. With this, what would you say is your team's greatest strength?
All right. So, personally,
Unpredictability.
yeah, that. But I think our other strengths lay in how we can, along with an unpredictability that kind of plays into how we're able to adjust on the fly and make the necessary changes to assert ourselves from the other team. We learn what we can do, our win conditions, and then we play right off of that. Something else is that we're very accepting of criticism, whether it be from ourselves or others. And not only do we take the criticism, but we know how to apply it to ourselves and see how it plays out in the future. What's another thing? Oh yes, once we gain momentum, we do not back down. That is how we've that's how we brought all our matches so far to Game 7. We do not back down from a challenge.
Never back down. Never what?
Never what?
Everybody say it in chat right now. Come on, this is the calling.
That's right. What do you think, JR? Did I say basically everything for you?
Basically, yeah, but I think the unpredictability is crazy because, you look at our team comp, realistically, you're used to like double shot or double Zuka meta with a juice and then a free spot based on the state of the game right now. But we're bringing in a roller, bringing in a slosher. Like it's definitely unconventional to say the least. And then we just and then we just kind of like autopilot into what we know, like communications, coordinations. Like it just kind of works. And by the end of the game, it's like, oh wow, that's crazy. Even the losses that we take aren't even like we can't be mad about it because I think our mental is strong enough to be like, okay, you know what? Next game, we'll take the next one. We can keep going. It's never enough for us in the sense that we can always keep improving. And that's the ultimate goal of us as a team right now, just to improve and have a good time doing it.
Yes, I love having fun.
That is a fantastic response. Yeah, no, it seems really to work well for for you all competing and such. Obviously we have yet to stream a match of yours on stream, but just looking from the stats you've put it in the Division 2 stats channel is that it seems like you're handling the competition very well and you're continuing to grow and accelerate through these matches.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. So something else we wanted to talk a little bit about was that you've had two back-to-back matches that have gone to a game 7. These matches were very back and forth,
Yeah.
grueling battles. I think you vaguely touched on it a little bit earlier. However, you have come out victorious both times. How do you handle the nerves that can come from trying to pull off that pivot and ultimately getting that victory?
All right.
Tammy, you go first, then I'll share my secret.
Oh, the
Oh,
secret.
okay. So
Gotta
at
hear
least
this.
from my perspective, it does get a little bit jittery, especially when we know that we have to turn around a game, like if we're like down 3 and they're about to get like that 4th game. It gets a little bit jittery, but like at the end of every match, I always tell the guys like we gotta lock in, we gotta like go next. Like there will always be more matches, there are always more opportunities to improve, there will always be more games, there will always like you can just have fun with it. It's just a game. We can respect the game and we can also just have fun with it. And no matter what, like no matter what the pressure arises, I think that like all of our matches have had pretty much crystal clear communication, which is amazing considering that we like formed so recently.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of impressive. So Cammy gave the smart answer, okay? So here's
Uh-huh.
the dumb answer. Here's the dumb,
You go
straightforward
silly.
answer. It's literally just like, for me at least, I can't speak for the rest of the team, but for me, it's like, okay, we're down 1-3. It's like, oh, okay, let's talk. You gotta like, shake it off, take a really, like, scream at the ceiling if you have to, take a
I
deep
didn't know you
breath.
did that.
I did. That's why I mute usually
Oh.
before the game starts. See, this is lore. This is J lore that you're learning now, and I'm getting outed
The
for it.
lore!
This is fun.
It's
But
crazy.
normally, like it's hard because we're definitely in a position where we feel the need to make an impression just because of the position we're in. Considering that this is the first year that we've done anything like this big. This is the first year that we've done anything under the Long Beach name, and it's like, huh, no pressure. It's only the entire esports organization watching you. So sometimes you can try to like take the breath, scream at something, punch the air. Like, all right, it's all out. Let's do this. Let's lock in.
Well, there are two types of people, and you have given each of their responses there. But it's good to see that you each have your different ways for coping with that stress, and the way you have approached it is very healthy and such. Um, and touching upon what Jay said there, like even if like things go astray here in the later seasons, the waves you've made in these just first few months alone have been huge, and it's really impressive so far.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
so
I get it.
Looking ahead, you've had some very impressive victories over MSU Camp Juice and Husky Splatfield Knights. Both these teams, being CCA veteran teams, have been that have previously competed in Division One. Looking at in Week 4, you're going to be playing against the last of these Division One veteran teams, Springfield, Ohio, which is arguably going to be your toughest opponent of the season, both because they are the first seed in your group and they're the only other team to have gone 2-0 as of right now. What are your thoughts on this match? And is there any specific way you're preparing for it?
So, I just like to bring up MSU Camp Juice and the Husky Splatsville Knights put in like a whole bunch of work. Like those victories did not come easy, and we seriously respect them as opponents. It was really fun to play against them, learn more things from the mistakes we made, like see how they play their weapons, how it shakes up the different like play styles. It's just also interesting to see. And well, we do know that Springfield, Ohio is a very strong team. I think we were like peeking at the entrance exam ladder like now and then. We were like, oh, Springfield, Ohio's strong, or like looking back at like CCA VODs as well. And
Mhm.
I really like their name too, just to mention that.
Their
So
logo is amazing too.
yes, I love their logo. It is like incredible. But as for preparations, as I mentioned before, I already like kind of watch VODs, see what people play, try and think about how we're going to counter strat that. But I mean, it's fair to be intimidated, and we will always respect them too. It's not like we're just going to be like, "Oh, we're going to crush you," but I always keep this in mind that every game starts out 0-0. It is never
Yep.
predetermined to start.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
I
that's how we're going
think.
to
Go ahead.
You
Sorry.
go.
Go ahead. Okay. I think. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's hard being like on an interview in AirPods. It's not like real time. You have to like try and time your response.
It's
But
okay. You go.
Camp Juice definitely is a memorable one for me. I think they're both really memorable because I remember there was a game of Clan Blitz where
Oh no.
it went into overtime. I'm talking about this because like I want to talk about it. I
We
really
were
do.
in disbelief.
There was a game of Clan Blitz on Scorch. We went into overtime. We're like, Cammy's just like, guys, just hold the clan, just hold the ramp. We're fine. We're chilling. Then you see, then a Pox just like rushes into their ramp. I got a bubble, and I'm like, I see the moment. So I jump over, move past like three of them, and score the clan in overtime. Like we didn't need to do that. And I remember seeing the splash just sit there in awe. I honestly like this isn't meant to like this isn't meant to showcase like the game or like the way I played. I want to just talk about like they're like no yeah real recognize real like that was you really
Real
couldn't do anything
recognizes
about that.
real.
Anytime a story starts with the words "Clan Blitz" and overtime, you know it's going to be something memorable.
Yes, send
No,
it to Fox.
that's I feel like a core memory definitely.
Yeah, but no, it's really good to hear that mindset you have. Going to each match being 0-0. I know that Popgon, a community figure, has gone records saying that the best teams are the ones who, do not give two craps about who their opponent is. They just play their game, and it's very glad. It's very. I'm glad to hear that you kind of have some of that reasoning with how you prepare for matches. Just take it one step at a time, and don't let the stakes kind of drive you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Cammy's really good at leveling our heads that way.
All right. We do have one big final question for you all. Finally, how
No,
far?
you can't join us. No, I'm kidding.
What? No, okay. We might have another question. We might have another question. It depends on how you answer this one.
All right.
Okay. So finally, how far do you think you will go? Are you just looking to make it to playoffs, or do you want to be wearing that Div 2 crown at the end of the season?
We're going to Worlds.
You're going to
To be
Worlds?
completely honest, hey. To be completely honest, I texted the team saying that if we made it to playoffs, I would throw up.
I
Because
made
it's
her
like
promise.
it's already
I made her
amazing
promise.
that it's like amazing that we're here in the first place. That like we kind of showed up and began taking names and just having a good time throughout it all. So, it's really fun to be here, and maybe taking the crown is also part of the fun. And like I think our story, our narrative in itself is already like crazy. Like 4 casuals and a Div 8 player, and to be a bunch of casuals kind of thrust into Div 2, isn't that something like amazing within itself already?
Yeah. I don't think I can really add more to that. I think it's just a little. The goal really is to do the best we can. Obviously, everybody's goal is to sweep, which realistically, like let's tone it down a little bit because people will put up fights, and that's just the reality of the situation. And I think with us, we have our goal of, like Cammy said, playoffs. And we're just working the best we can to get there. We're just taking each fight like one at a time. We're respecting and humbling ourselves, definitely. and we'll just hopefully we get there. We have our goal, and we don't intend on giving that up. Never back down, never would.
Never back down,
Exactly.
never what?
Never what?
Again,
Never
it
give
is-
up, CSUB, because we don't fail.
Go Beach.
That's what it's about.
Should be Long Beach instead of Long Beach because Long Beach has an L in it, right?
Long Beach.
Again, it is fantastic to hear
Oh,
that
yes.
positive mental attitude you have towards stuff. And unfortunately, you don't have a CCA Worlds event yet, but when we get around to that, in, I don't know, 5 years or something of then let's definitely consider them.
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah,
But-
that's the hard deadline. GRF, 5 years.
He's not even here. I'll have to hear that on the VOD.
Yeah, don't worry. He'll like
See, now
drop
it's on
it. He'll spill
camera,
his
so now you have
coffee.
to make it happen.
Yeah,
This will be replayed in a video 5 years from now. It'll be like clipped with like an what is it? Like one of those vintage filters.
Oh my god.
This is like a Simpsons type thing. Like you predicted this 5 years ago, and they're gonna pull up the clip.
I might as well go to grad school at Long Beach to be there at Worlds then.
Exactly.
Real.
That's how they get you.
exactly.
You're gonna go
So,
for a PhD.
Thank you for
too. Yeah.
all for Collegiate Splatoon, right?
hmm
Splatoon.
Thank you so much for joining us for this interview. It was lovely talking to you two, and you provided some fantastic answers.
Of course, it
Where
was
can
a
we
pleasure.
find
Having
you
us.
two?
Oh, okay. So we do have the Cal State Long Beach esports socials. They do have a Twitch account, and they also have a Twitter account as well. Filmopolis also has his Twitch account, which is, under the name Filmopolis, and Jay can promote his own channels as well.
Hi, that's me. We have a Black Aurora team Twitter, _SPL, and you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/FunnymanSPL as well. I can't be original with names, so I have to use SPL because then I will get drowned in with everybody else. So that's all me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for letting us talk to you.
All right,
So,
thank you
thank
so
you for
much for
having us. It's
the
been
having
so
us
fun.
here. It was so great, and being able to have a little pearl of wisdom to share.
Maybe you. I was here for the comic relief.
I mean, the pearl doesn't have to be a big pearl. It can be like like a grain of salt.
Hey, both of those things were very much appreciated on this episode. So
Thank you so much for
once
having
again.
us again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So that is California State Long Beach Gold, everyone. Here's to seeing great things for them in the coming weeks.
Yeah, keep an eye out for them as we keep moving forward the season. All
Yeah.
right.
So moving on, we have our final segment, which is just to go over some of the upcoming notable matches for Week 3. So I'm going to start with Division 6, where I have two matches highlighted. Kutztown University's Disciple of Cods versus UGA Black from the University of Georgia. In his desperate bid to stay in the runnings for playoffs, Disciple of Cods really needs to score a big win over here, over this group's frontrunner, to keep their hopes afloat in this Division 6 group. Additionally, also in Div 6, you have Onsu Gray from the Ohio State University. Yes, the D is very important to them. Versus O of A Axon Splatters from the University of Alberta. This is Onsu's Gray's. This is the Ohio State's University's new second team, and due to an unfortunate reschedule in Week 1 and a Week 2 bye, Onsu Gray has still yet to play their first match of the season. So hopefully they finally get to actually play in Week 3. Luckily, it's not as bad as Thunderbirds from last season. Thank God.
Oh no. Yeah, let's not bring that up again. Going into Division 5 for this upcoming week, we have OU Academy B from the University of Oklahoma versus LG Equinox from the University of Texas at Austin. After a tough loss in Week 2, OU Academy B needs to regain their pace if they want to continue past the regular season. Here they will be running into Equinox, who bounced back after a defeat Week 1 with a clean sweep. We also will be having a match with UNM Splatoon from the University of New Mexico versus the Bull Sharks from University of South Florida. UNM Splatoon is the current group frontrunner. However, Bull Sharks are not far behind, winning their first match and having their second match rescheduled. It's anyone's game here.
Division 5 is always entertaining to watch. Moving on to Division 4, we have an unstoppable force meeting an unmovable object, with UCSD Navy facing up against VCU Goomies. Both of these teams are currently 2-0 and lead their group. If there's a remaining match to prevent UCSD from being the top seed in Group 3, it is this match. UCSD is very much fighting to guarantee a playoff run at the top, while Goomies here are fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive in this electrifying Division 4 match. In another group, we have the Calamari Comics from the University of Texas at Dallas, versus Bash from Purdue Universities. Both these teams come from very established collegiate Splatoon programs and find themselves in very similar situations, both going 1-1. Whoever wins this match will have their dreams of a playoff run extended for yet another week. This match will also be streamed Saturday night, I believe, at 9:30 p.m.
Yeah, I'm actually commentating the Bash game at the moment.
Oh
at
yeah,
least.
that is right.
So I may or may not be a little bit hard on my fellow Purdue gamers. We'll see. A tough love.
Exactly.
Moving on to Division 3, we're going to be having a matchup between the GMU Patriots from George Mason University versus Chark Attack from the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. These names may or may not sound a little familiar. I hope they sound familiar. Can the GMU Patriots keep their momentum up and continue their dominant lead in Group 1? Or can Chark Attack bounce back from a tough defeat and reestablish themselves as a playoff team? A lot hinges on this match in particular, so be sure to keep a lookout for the results on that one. And then finally, we have the infamous Creamed Corn from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln versus the Titans of Alterna Orange from California State University, Fullerton. These two teams are the top teams from Group 2 of Division 3, and they're going to be facing off against each other for what could be very much the first seed in playoffs. Creamed Corn also really needs to win this match, as their Week 5 match will be against Comet Combo Meal, and that's going to be pretty dicey. So if they can secure this win, they're going to be a bit safer as they move into the playoffs. Both of these teams, though, have been already pushed against the wall previously, so both of them actually winning Game 7 matches. So this is going to be one heck of a match with dramatic consequences for the loser. So again, keep an eye out for that one. Division 3 is going to be insane this week.
It is very, very spicy. Moving on to Division 2, we have the previously mentioned Springfield, Ohio from Case Western Reserve University versus MSU Camp Juice. Springfield, Ohio has been on an absolute roll in Division 2, currently 2-0, and only dropping a single game. However, their schedule gets a lot more difficult here, and MSU Camp Juice stands in their way. After a rough Week 1, losing in Game 7 to, oh, look at that, California State University of Long Beach Gold. MSU needs to keep their pace up, and there's no better way to do that than defeating the current group frontrunner here. So a very impactful match that will set the pace for both teams going forward. The last Division 2 match I want to mention is Coastal Squid Surf from the Coastal Carolina University versus Chum Buckets from Rowland University. Here we have the battle of the teams that went from the bottom divisions of Season 3 to Division 2 here in Season 4. This is sure to be an exciting match for both these teams, and this is also heightened by the fact that Chum Buckets still has yet to play a match this season, having had to use a reschedule in Week 1, and then having to forfeit their match in Week 2. So, a really important and signifying match here that's going to take place.
Absolutely. Chum Bucket is going to definitely be putting up a strong fight against CSS, so be sure to keep an eye out for that match as well. And then in Division 1, we're going to be seeing Old Bay Brigade versus UCSD Esports Gold. And this is going to be very do or die for UCSD. If they want to keep their playoff hopes alive, they're going to have to get a win in this match. They previously lost to Night Sharks, and they're having to face MSU Aris next week, who has yet to drop a game so far. So they're currently stampeding across the entirety of their group in Division One. So they're going to have to make sure that they can get some points up on their side in order to have a chance still in the running. There's still going to be that really big mountain, though, to climb, as Old Bay Brigade is actually favored going into this match with a Week 1 victory over Night Sharks in a Game 7. So Old Bay Brigade has enough stamina in them to take UCSD to a Game 7 if need be. So this is going to be an extremely important match to see who will be well set up in order to get a reasonable lock into getting into playoffs. And the loser will have a very difficult time if they wish to also have a shot at that. Notably, also, VCU has been yet to play Old Bay Brigade and Night Sharks, so they could completely pull a spoiler and shake things up as well.
Yeah, Division Group B in Division 1 is an absolute joy to watch right now. There's just so many complicated things happening, and a lot hinges on this match and then what VCU does to Night Sharks and Old Bay Brigade. We could very much have a circle suck happening in a Division 1 group, which will cause dramatic effects across the larger season storylines.
Definitely. Looking into our other group, we have PSU Blue versus EAUCD Banana Split. PSU and Banana Split they actually have quite the history between each other. They're playing in their first round of Gold Bracket in Via Bowl 2, and more importantly, in the semifinals of Division 1 last season, where Banana Split was able to clutch a Game 7 win and send them to the playoffs. Can the reigning league champions stop PSU's dominance, or will PSU be able to continue forward? You cannot ask for a better lineup this week. So catch this match live this Saturday at 8 p.m. EST on the CCA's Twitch channel.
Yeah, we have a very great collection of matches being streamed this week. A lot of these aforementioned important pivotal matches as well. Just to recap our stream schedule for week 4. Friday night at 8 p.m. EST, we'll have GMU Patriots take on Shark Attack, followed by the Sporty Bobble Hat Gang versus Ink Raiders Bravo in Division 5. Then on Saturday night at 8 p.m. EST, we have PSU Blue versus the aforementioned Banana Split. That's going to be an absolute riot to watch, and everyone should definitely tune in for that. Following that at 9 p.m. EST, we have Calamari Comets versus Bash. Again, a very important and pivotal match. Finally, on Sunday, we have a triple header starting at 7 p.m. EST with Vermilion Tides versus Odyssey Scarlet. Then with We Aquatic Little Creatures versus the Squidies. I'm sorry, Wisconsin Whitewater. I can never pronounce your name correctly. And then finally, with that most important Division 4 match I previously mentioned, UCSD Esports Navy versus VCU Goomies at 9 p.m. EST. All that happening on the CCA Twitch channel. So there's a lot of impactful and important collegiate Splatoon happening this weekend, and we hope you all can tune in to watch it all happen.
Definitely. All right, so with further ado, we're going to go into our closing statements for today. It is at that point of the episode. We'd like to wish good luck to the collegiate players and teams in the upcoming tournament. And we also have Low Ink around the corner and also from the Ink Up. We're seeing a lot of collegiate participation there. Any comments on any of that, Krona?
Well, I'm very excited considering the fact I have that spreadsheet with all the collegiate teams in Low Ink. You saw a lot of drop-off in the summer, so I'm hoping to see a lot of collegiate teams tune into this Low Ink and try to lock against some of the larger teams in the scene. So it'll be interesting to watch some of the Division 1 teams compete too, with VCU Ink lacking very close, having a very solid run in Alpha Bracket in Low Ink August. So it's exciting to see what they could pull this month.
Sounds great. All right. So, Krona, where can the good people find you?
You can find me at Twitter at comrade_Krona, or you can find me here, probably in help desk, answering questions. What about you, OmaZen?
I'm so glad you asked. You can find me on Twitter at OmaZen_monkey, no Y, monkey. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. That's where I vibe most of the time.
Yeah. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. Hopefully we'll have an episode next week, probably either Thursday or Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST. But just look in announcements and the events for further information.
All right. Have a
So
good night,
thank you all for
everyone.
tuning out.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.